Watch this. So in the ancient culture, right? This is what's reflected at all times. And it happens today. Your name represents your character, also represents your destiny. It represents the covenant identity you have, the God you serve. So Babylon, when they took Israelite captive, they was trying to erase their covenant identity, being erase the promise with God. This goes on to today where people want to erase your history so you don't know where you've been, so you don't know where you're going. Also, they want to reprogram your theology. So they want you to think that you came from this God or think that you came from that God and don't believe that you came from the true and living God. Also tied identity to the Babylonian gods instead of Yahweh. So I want you to say you come from Kemet. I want you to say that you were originally following this person, or you was originally some energy or vibration. I want you to say that no, you from the Anunnaki tribe. I want you to be part of this or that. This is spiritual warfare through culture. They do that automatically so you won't recognize or you won't say who the true and living God is. Check how it's reading now. Let's go to verse 5. The king assigned them daily provision from the raw food and wine that he drank. They were to be trained for 3 years, and at the end of that time, they were to serve in the king's court. So for 3 years, I have to eat what the royal people eat, drink what they drink, and then I'm trained in their literature. I'm pretty sure they trained them how to fight, and I'm trained in their ways. It reminds me of what they did this to Joseph, and then when his people came, they didn't even recognize who he was. And it was so strong that if you read in Genesis, it says when Joseph's brothers came to him, there was an interpreter in between them. So Joseph had picked up the language so good that they couldn't even understand what he was saying. And then it goes right back to what we're reading, that after a while, once you get colonized and the culture shapes and shifts you, it puts you to who they want you to be, who they want you to believe in, and then who they want you to follow. That's what happens today. This is how culture changes. This is how culture makes sure you do not follow what they want you to follow. They want you to follow who they think is the better choice. They think is the better God. Who they think is the better way to think. Who they think have the better moral rules, have the better laws. I want you to follow it this way. And despite on what the Bible says, despite on what the word says, despite on what your God says, you're going to follow this.